Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the column support, which is our third and last drawing in the orthographic drawing problems module in the hub. This part is symmetrical, and it's not a bad part to draw orthographically. It's a lot of arcs and circles for sure, but the tricky part is right here. And this is what's going to trip a lot of students up. And on the other side as well, which is not very clear to us, where this, basically this flange meets this curving cylinder, and how to represent that properly on the top view, which causes problems for some students. So we're going to take a look at how that should be done properly. So we're going to start. I already have this downloaded from the hub, and I've already saved it to my desktop, so I'm ready to go. And I've got ortho turned on. So I'm going to start with the top view. I'm going to start with a center diameter circle, which is already selected. Find the origin endpoint and draw the first hole, which is 9.38 diameter. We're going to go back up the circle, this time select a center radius, find the same origin, and this time draw a circle at 12.5 radius, which represents the end of the part. That curved arc end for the column support, that flange. Now, I'm going to copy this over to this side because it's dimensioned on the iPad screen that from center to center, both these 9.38 diameter holes are dimensioned 82.5 away. So what I can do is select both these circles, hit copy, go from the end point in the origin to the right, key in 82.5, enter. Right click, left click, enter to end. And I'm also going to create a center line at this quadrant to this quadrant. This is going to represent symmetry as well and help me build the rest of this top view. So I'm going to leave that like an object line, layer 0 for now. Now this cylinder in the middle, this semi-cylinder in the middle that curves kind of like an igloo, it has a width of 37.5. So I need to divide that over 2 and offset this line. Now that can be kind of hard to do in your head, so I'm going to switch to this calculator, and we're going to type 37.5 divided by 2 equals, that gives us 18.75. So that's our offset value, 18.75, enter. Offset this line up, offset this line down. All right. So now this line can be moved to the center line layer, and we can grip it out as shown before, 6 millimeters per side. And we're also going to have a center line passing through the midpoint from top to bottom as well. And this is going to also represent a center line going this way. So we're going to go 6 millimeters out per side. We're going to turn this into a center line. And there's also a small drilled hole at that intersection on the top view. It's listed as a diameter of 5. So that's a center radius, sorry, a center diameter circle. Hit the midpoint, type 5, enter. Okay. So what we don't know is where this cylinder is going to end. What we can do with this is draw a line from this quadrant to this quadrant, and this one to this one, and we can trim using these boundaries. So we're going to trim that away. And we're going to leave it like that for now. So we're going to come into the front view now because we need the front view to help us build this part. So we're going to start with a radius circle, center radius. At the origin here, we're drawing a circle with a radius of 25, which is the larger one, and the smaller one is 16.25. All right. And we're also going to start to build the bottom line, which is going to represent the bottom of the flange, the bottom surface. So we can hit the line, start at this quadrant, come over, and then come up here and touch an O-track the end, like that. And this comes up on a thickness, or height, I should say, of 8.75. And then this is going to run past this arc, and we can trim it off. And we can do the same thing on this side, except we can mirror it. So we're going to select these lines here, hit the mirror. So you can actually select the lines before you hit the mirror command, which is something I did. Usually I hit mirror first and select them. I did it the opposite way today. Pick the origin, find the preview you like, click, erase source, no. All right. And one thing we can do is erase this line here and bring this over to here, and then bring this line. I shouldn't have erased that line, but I'm going to replace it, bring it to here. All right, we're going to hit the trim. We're going to trim the bottom like this. Okay. So next up, we're going to draw a line from here. Bring it up. Repeat the line from here. Bring it up, and we're going to trim. And the same thing here. Now, this is also going to be trimmed. Here. We also have a hidden line that needs to run here and here to be able to represent that inside hollow cylinder that we can't see from looking at this from the top. So I'm going to go into layer properties. I'm going to update this to yellow so you can see it clearly. And we're going to hit the line. We're going to draw a line from this endpoint up to here. And set this for hidden detail. And then we're going to trim it. All right. Now here is where things get tricky for students to understand. So we know that these two vertical hidden lines line up perfectly with this endpoint and this endpoint to represent that hollow cylinder, that hollow semi-cylinder running through. We know that this represents this flange on the top view and the front view. We've lined up the most outer position here with the top view here. But this continues on. This line here is longer than this one, right? If you measure this, it's 30.3313. If we measure the bottom, it's going to be shorter, 28.75. So a lot of students will miss this. They'll want to leave it like this. So what has to happen is we need to draw a line from this endpoint up, like this. And here's the difference, right? So this has to be extended to here. And we're also going to have to trim here. And we're going to have to grip this line up like this. That's how that should look. So again, so here's a repeat of this. Line. Find this endpoint. Draw a line up to this perpendicular. Take this line, use a grip, and extend it to the perpendicular snap. Then trim. And then this line here gets gripped down. And this one can be gripped up to here. That is how that is represented correctly, right? And you can double check this. Again, draw a line from here to here. That lines up. Keeping in mind that this sits inside, offset on each side, symmetrically in the middle. This lines up with this endpoint. So that makes sense. We're also going to have to add a center line here. Extend it 6 millimeters each way. And I will copy it from this hole to this one. Center line. Notice how these things aren't showing up as center lines here. So how do we fix that? We type LT scale. LT scale is set for 0.5 already, but we'll change it to 0.25. Same as we did for the feed stop. Hit enter, and that's going to make those layer dashes appear more often. We still have more to show here in hidden detail on the front view. We need to draw a line from this quadrant down. We can also copy this line from here to here. Change this to a hidden detail. Select trim. I don't want to trim that. Right click, left click, repeat. And there's that hole that passes through the top. We're also going to have a center line that appears from here to here because this is also symmetrical. So this has to extend as well. So this center line is for symmetry. And we also have to show the hidden lines that represent these holes in the front view as well. So again, we're going to draw a line from here to here. I'm going to copy it from this endpoint to this quadrant. Select it as a hidden line. And of course, I'm trying to pick up a midpoint that I can't pick up, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to draw a line from this endpoint. The reason I can't pick it up is because no such midpoint exists. But I'm used to doing that. So this is a center line. All right, now we're ready to trim. The center line comes up 6 and down 6, like that. We are going to select also these hidden lines. Now we have everything. We're going to go to mirror again. We're going to mirror it to the other side, and we're going to say no to erasing the source. All right, so we have our top view and our front view done. Now we just have the right side view, which is the piece of cake. So we're going with a line. This is more a rectangular piece. So we're starting here at the end point, coming up, touching. We're O-tracking. This is 25, and it is going to be 37.5 wide. Come down, O-track. Come down, C, enter to close. Now we have to show the flange. So what we can do is we can either offset this. I'll probably just offset it. Its height is 8.75. Like that. We also need to represent one of these hidden holes that are in line with one another on that right side view. So we can just take this, copy it from this intersection, and then bring it to this midpoint and click, and I have that hole represented. This center line can be extended to the midpoint and can be brought up another 6 millimeters, and I have that center line to represent my symmetry as well. So what else do I have to do? Well, this bottom flange should not be going from one side to the other. It's only 25 in width. So what do I have to do? I have to offset this line 12.5 per side. So 12.5, enter. Offset to the left, offset to the right. Change these lines back to layer 0. Select some boundaries here. Right click and trim. Okay, now that looks proper. One more hidden line running from here over to perpendicular. And this hole here needs to be brought over. So we're going to take this, we're going to copy it from here, and we're going to bring it over to here. We're also going to close that off here at the bottom. The reason for that is because this is on an arc. So this actually is sitting, it actually sits lower on the left and right than it does in the middle here. It should be arced a bit, but for the purposes of our drawing, this is good enough to represent that. And that is it. So that is how you draw the column support. One last time, title block creation. We talked about it before. 10 marks on a test. Make sure you have your drawing checker. Take a look at this. Use the arrows to get it all in one line, and make sure you move these names until they're in the correct centering position, right? Make sure you spend some time and just make sure it looks good. September 23rd, 20th year. Scale 1:1. Drawing number 201-06. Maybe we'll just move this one over a touch. There. Okay, and that is it. You're going to notice as well that when you create these drawings, if you were to measure between the views, you would get 40 millimeters between views. This goes for the carrier frame and the feed stop as well. Right, so that's something you can check as well when you're going over your work. But that is it. All right, so the next time we talk, we're going to be talking about dimensioning orthographic drawings, which is not as simple as dimensioning a single view drawing. Single view drawings, you've just been copying the dimensioning placement that I have already given you in the iPad image sheets. But in dimensioning an orthographic drawing, you're going to have to actually think about dimension placement, and there's a set of rules to follow. So that'll be the next thing we're going to look at. Until then, take care, good luck, and have a great day.